So next in our corrective exercise program, we're going to move into the lengthening phase, and we're going to start off with a neuromuscular stretch of the latissimus dorsi. So for this stretch, we're going to have our client laying supine on the bench. We're going to have them take their arm and place it straight up into the air. We want the elbow to be nice and straight. We're going to stabilize the scapula by holding it down against the bench. And then I'm going to take my client into shoulder flexion and abduction out to the side. And then Sean, what I want you to do is move your hand not just up, but also in towards your head, towards your chest. Does that make sense? With about 25% of your effort. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Push. Push into my hand. Give me a little more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And then that arm really relaxed. I was able to take him into a deeper stretch on the lats, past that first point of resistance. I'm going to hold this stretch for about 20 seconds. I can repeat to the opposite side as well, or repeat on the same side if necessary. Next, in our lengthening phase, we're going to work on a neuromuscular stretch for the posterior shoulder capsule. I can take your glasses. Posterior shoulder capsule, as well as the posterior rotator cuff muscles, infraspinatus and teres minor. So I'm going to have my client side lying on the side that we're going to be stretching. He's going to place one arm down, the top arm down and away. And we're going to have this shoulder flexed at 90 degrees, elbow flexed at 90 degrees. I'm going to stabilize at the forearm, and then I'm going to internally rotate that shoulder until I feel some resistance right about there. And now, Sean, what I want you to do is push back into my hand and externally rotate that arm about 25%. Good, push. 3, 2, 1, relax. And after a second of relaxation, I'm going to push him down. And as you can see, he's definitely able to go further into that internal rotation movement. We're going to hold this for about 20 seconds and then repeat to the opposite side. Next in our lengthening phase, we're going to be performing a neuromuscular stretch of the subscapularis, which is an internal rotator of the shoulder. I'm going to have my client laying supine on the bench, and what I'm going to do is support the shoulder and elbow and place the client into a position of 90-90 external rotation and abduction. And from there, I'm going to passively move him into more shoulder abduction until I get a point of first resistance. So right there. So Sean, now what I want you to do is push your elbow back into my hand. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And now I'm going to try to get him into a little bit more external rotation and shoulder abduction. Now this is definitely looking uncomfortable for him. So he must be tight in that subscap. I'm only going to hold this for about 10 seconds. And then relax just because of discomfort. We could then repeat the stretch again and then repeat to the opposite side as necessary. Next in our lengthening phase, we're going to be working on a neuromuscular stretch for the pec major and pec minor. So again, client is laying supine. We're going to take a similar stance as for the subscapularis by stabilizing the shoulder above the coracoid process. We're going to take the arm. This time, rather than bringing it into 90 degrees of flexion, we're going to come out into abduction as well as horizontal abduction. So pulling that hand down towards the floor, and we should be getting a big stretch in the pecs. How does that feel, Sean? It's good. Good stretch in the pecs. Now what I want you to do is push your hand not only in towards your ribs, but up into my hand. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So he's providing some resistance. We're going to hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax, and then I'm going to be able to go a little bit deeper into that stretch. If we even externally rotate the shoulder a bit, we might get a larger stretch on that muscle. And it's very important that we keep holding down that scap through the coracoid process such that we don't get any compensations that will take tension off of the muscle. Next in our lengthening phase, we're going to work on a seated rotational stretch for the erector spinae. So Sean, what I'm going to have you do is cross your arms over your chest, and I'm going to place one hand in the back of his shoulder and one hand in the front. I'm going to rotate him to his left because we are intending to stretch the right side. So I'm going to push until I get some resistance. Feet are flat, right? Good. Right about there. And now what I want you to do is push your right shoulder back into my right hand. Go. Push. Come through. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And then after that relaxation, I'm going to push him back into that motion. We want to make sure he's stable in the front, so those feet stay firmly planted. If possible, we could block the legs either with some weights or a roller trapped between the thighs to make sure that there's no motion going on at the hips or pelvis. And that is a stretch for the EXSC. So the last stretch in our lengthening phase is for the QL, or quadratus lumborum, specifically on the right side. So I'm going to have my client lay on his left. He's going to flex the knee and the hip with the bottom leg or the left leg. And then what we're going to do is straighten out the top leg, bring it into hip extension, a little bit of knee extension as well. One hand goes on the lateral aspect of the femur. The other hand is going to stabilize just above the iliac crest. And then I'm going to push him down into hip adduction, which should then create a stretch right here. Sean, you feeling that?
Yes.
Good. Now what I want you to do is push into my hand with about 20% of your pressure. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. After a brief relaxation, I'm going to push back into that same stretch. And I'm definitely able to get past that point of first resistance this time. Any discomfort here, Sean?
No.
Good. So I'm going to hold that for about 20 seconds. At which point we can either repeat the stretch on the same side or switch to the other as necessary. All right, and that is the lengthening phase of our corrective exercise program.